Welcome to today's tutorial. We'll learn how to use tweens to create these falling platforms that fall when you jump on them.
Game Dev Journey.
Okay, so once you've designed your level, it's time to make the falling or hover platforms. So create a new scene and we'll use a rigid body as the root, which we'll rename to falling platforms. Now, of course, we need a collision shape. So add a collision shape 2D, and it can be a rectangle shape. And we also want an animated sprite to represent the platform. So go ahead and add an animated sprite 2D and give it some sprite frames. Now, in the Pixel Adventure Assets Traps folder, you will find assets for the falling platform. So go ahead and drag the falling platforms folder into your assets folder here, and you'll get these off and on animations, which we're going to use. So let's rename the default to off, and we'll just grab the one off frame that we have. Now we can size our collision shape using that. So we can go ahead and just match the length, the width, and the height. There we go. Head back here, add a new animation, call it on. And this one we'll get from sprite frames. So you click on the sprite sheet, go to assets, falling platforms, click on, open it. We've got 4 frames and one vertical frame. So just do that, stack them all and add them. Now let's increase the FPS to 15. Looping is on, and let's hit autoplay to on, and let's have a look what it looks like. And it looks really good to me. So now we have our animations set up. Let's go ahead and add an area 2D node as a child of the falling platform. And obviously that needs a collision shape of its own. So let's go and add a collision shape to it. And let's add a rectangle shape. And we just need to fit the platform and be slightly above it. So when the player jumps on, we can actually detect that they're on the platform. Right, the platform is basically set up now. Let's add a script to the falling platform node here. Put it in our scripts folder. And we're ready to begin coding. Now we're actually going to be using a tween to create the hover animation. So the way that you create a tween is to use the create tween function. So you say on ready, we'll create a variable here, which we'll call our tween, and we'll make it equal to create tween. And we want a reference to our animated sprite. So I'm going to click Control, drag, and release. Now we have a tween and an animated sprite that we can use. Now we want some variables to set the hover distance and the hover duration. So let's go ahead and create a variable called hover distance. And let's make it 10 and set another variable called hover duration. And let's set that to 1. Now in the ready function, we're going to disable the gravity and start hovering. So let's get our ready function going. And let's set gravity scale to 0. And let's start hover. Now we don't have this method yet. We're going to create it. So let's go over here, create a function called start hover. And let's see how we start hovering. Well, what we really need to do is store that initial Y position of where the hover platform is placed. So we can put a comment in for ourselves here. Store starting Y position. And so we'll say var start Y is equal to global position dot Y. So we know where that we know where the point that the platform has to move back to, because it's going to hover up and down. So now we're going to actually make our tween. Now, what is a tween? Well, a tween is a tool for smoothly animating changes in a node's properties over time. So it's essentially a way to interpolate or gradually change values from a starting point to an ending point using a specific function. And this is often called an easing function. And this allows for creating procedural animations directly in the code. So we've already created our tween up at the top here using the create tween function. So our tween is ready to go. We've got a variable that represents it. So now what we need to do is set how many times this animation is going to loop using the tween set loops function. Now, we want it to loop indefinitely. So what we do, and I'll put a comment here, let's say create the movement loop. What we can do is say tween dot set loops. Now, if you put a value in here, that'll be how many times this animation loops. We want it to loop infinitely, so we're not going to put a value in. That's a non-terminating loop now. Now, we want to tween a property. And the way tween works is you say tween dot tween property. There it is. Okay. Now it wants the object, the game object, to apply the tween to. So the game object is this falling platform that we're in. So it's just itself, right? The next thing it wants is the actual property. And what we want is the global position, and specifically the Y position. We're moving the platform up and down. So we're going to say the Y position, right? The next thing it wants is the final value that it should tween to. And so we've decided we've got a distance that we wanted to move 10 pixels up and down. We might change that. So we want to move it from that starting Y position, whatever its starting Y position is, we want to move it up 10. Now, up in Godot is a negative, so we must subtract this starting Y from our hover duration to get the final destination of the platform. So we're going to say start Y minus, just put a space in there, minus hover duration, hover distance, hover distance. That's where we want to get to. And now, how long must this animation last? Well, that's our hover duration. So we can say hover duration. Okay, and this will create the up and down animation for us, right? It's animating this hover platform. It's changing the position of the global Y position of this platform. And the final place it wants to move it to is 10 pixels above where it started. And it's going to occur over 1 second because that's the duration we chose. Okay, that's how the tween is going to work. So now we need to do a couple more things. We want to smooth the movement out. And we want it to repeat using a sine wave behavior. So the transition type, so when it transitions between getting to the very top and moving back down to its starting position, we want it to transition in a sine wave. So nice, smooth transition. So we just say tween dot set trans, that's the transition type. And we're going to scroll here and look for sine. There it is. The transition type is sine. And then we want to accelerate and decelerate gently. So we want to set the easing to ease in and out. Okay, so it's not a rapid motion. It's going to smoothly and gradually go up and down. So we can say tween dot set ease, and there's in out. That's what we want. Okay, and that should be the tween. Now, this is only the up. So all of this is moving upwards. So we need to move this. Now we need to repeat this for down. So let's just add a comment here for ourselves. Move up. Okay. And this is all going to be repeated for moving down. There's only one change. Copy that. I'm going to say move down. And instead of minus, it's going to be plus. But everything else stays the same. So that's up and this is down. So now all we need to do is connect the body entered signal of the area 2D so that when the player steps on the platform, the fan turns off and the platform falls. Because this is a hover platform, it can't support weight. So we go to groups, signals. We want body entered over here. So we'll grab that and connect it. And here we go. Let's bring that up. There. Okay, so now if the body is in the group called player, so we'll check if it is the player. So we'll say if body dot is in group player, then we want to turn off the animation. So we'll say animated sprite dot play off. Perfect. We want to give the player like a quarter of a second to get off that platform instead of just making it fall immediately. So we'll create a little inline timer here. So we'll say await get tree dot create timer, and we'll set it to 0.25 and we'll go dot timeout. So that when it does timeout, the next lines will run and we'll say turn gravity scale back on and stop the tween. So tween dot stop. So yeah, the if the player is entering the platform. One other thing we should actually do is we don't want this to happen if the player just bumps the platform from the side. We want to make sure the player jumps onto the platform from above it. So we should actually add another condition to our if statement here. We should say if the player is entering the platform and they're entering the platform from above, so the player, the body, the global position dot y is less than this platform self dot global position dot y. So if they're entering the platform from above, then we turn the propeller of the platform off. We wait for a quarter of a second, then we turn gravity on so the platform will form because this is a rigid body, and we stop the tween. That should work. Everything should work there. So let's save this in our scripts folder. Okay, go back to our falling platform level and add a falling platform to the level. So let's go to our scenes, grab a falling platform. Where is it? Why can't I see it? Where have we saved this? In save scene as. Oh, I've saved it in a scripts folder. Okay, I'll have to move that. So if we go here to scripts, here it is. Here, let's just move it to scenes. Okay, close that. Now we can go to scenes and grab falling platform. Okay, so let's go back to the level. And I'm going to put this falling platform over here so that you have to come down. Don't fall on it because then it will drop and you won't have it to help you get up to the checkpoint. But you have to come here, drop, get the strawberry, and then jump and get to the flag. So let's test this. Okay, so let's run. Okay, there we go. Okay, we can go up. We can break these boxes if we like. Okay, don't want it to fall yet. Grab that because now the flag is active. Okay, so it fell instantly. So we're going to have to debug that now. Let's just double check. I'm going to make another one just here, just to see what's going on quickly. Let's run and see. So now, if we run, okay, so I think the problem is with our collision layers. So let's just check it out. If we go to the falling platform itself, if we go to its collision, we can see that it's on player 1. Let's just put it on ground, and it's looking for the player itself. Okay, and let's just test that now. So yeah, now it's acting the correct way. Okay, so let's go fall. Right, we get the strawberry, jump on the platform, and we got a chance to get up and go. One last thing I want to change for the falling platform, we made it look for the player, but I also wanted to look for the ground so that the platform doesn't fall out of the level. So now when we run it, you'll see if we jump on the platform, it falls and stays in the level itself. So we can go ahead and get the strawberry here, jump on the platform, and try and get up. We missed it. So I hope that helps you. I hope you learned how to use Tween, and I'll see you in the next one.